It's 6 o'clock. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Class Breakfast News. The bulletin is coming to you live from the studios here in Accra. Class FM 91.3, Ho FM 92.5 in the Volta region, Dagban FM 102.5 in Tamale, Radio War 92.1 in the Upper West region, Radio Power 96 in Spain, and around the world on classfmonline.com. Cabinet family appeals to Foreign Affairs Minister to help bring home remains of their relative killed in South Africa during the height of xenophobic attacks.
I am pleading with Okujeto Ablakwa to bring down the mortal remains of my son.
Parliamentary Network Africa questions Parliament's approach to Supreme Court nominee vetting.
Why is it then different for the ministers of state nominees who are coming before the same appointment committee and, require the same kind of rigor? That because they are already members of the legislative branch, the principle must not hold.
Meanwhile, Parliament has approved Mahama Yariga and Dr. Zaneto Agyemang Rawlings as ministers.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have. The first is Honorable Mahama Ayarga. The second is Honorable Zanato Agyemang Rawlings.
Still to come, Air Uganda and Etihad Airways to begin operations in Ghana in March 2027.
Operators. In October of this year, we will be welcoming Air Uganda, and in March of next year, we will be welcoming Etihad Airways.
And in African news, Tanzania's political crisis deepens after Vice President resigns.
This is the Class Breakfast News.
My name is Agyemang Prempeh. Let's settle for the details. So our very first story, the Duche jailer family in Bato in the North Town district of the Volta region is appealing to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, to intervene and help bring the remains of their son who was shot to death during the height of the xenophobic attacks in South Africa back to Ghana for burial. The family says their son was allegedly attacked and killed in South Africa in April this year. According to them, despite several efforts to have the remains repatriated to Ghana, those attempts have so far proved unsuccessful, leaving them distressed and unable to give their son a befitting burial. They are therefore calling on the Foreign Affairs Minister to use his office to engage the relevant authorities in South Africa and facilitate the return of the remains. In this report, my colleague Charles Akrofi spoke to the family here in Ghana who share their pain and frustrations over the situation.
For close to 5 months, the family of Duche Ejay in Bato in the North Town district of the Volta region say they've been living with pain words cannot adequately describe. Nash Amonu Jailer, a Ghanaian IT expert and businessman, was reportedly attacked and killed by a group in East London, South Africa in April this year at the height of reported xenophobic attacks while returning home from work. His mother, Patience Duche Ejay, says her only wish is simple: to have the remains of her beloved son brought home to Ghana so the family can finally give him a befitting burial.
I am pleading with the President, also Okudzeto Ablakwa and Ibrahim Mahama, to bring down the mortal remains of my son.
The full report airs this afternoon on 12 Live. Make a date with us. Now, away from the Parliamentary Network, Africa has questioned Parliament's decision to proceed with the vetting of Supreme Court nominees without applying the 14-day publication principle previously used for similar appointments. This comments follows a walkout by the minority in Parliament during the vetting of 3 Supreme Court Justice nominees yesterday. The minority objected to the non-publication of the nominees' names in the daily newspapers, arguing that the public must be given adequate time to scrutinize the nominees and submit memoranda. Speaking to Class News, the founding executive director of the Parliamentary Network Africa, Samuel Obey, noted that while Parliament Standing Order 217 Clause 10 requires the name of presidential nominees to be published in a newspaper of national circulation to invite memoranda from the public, it does not expressly specify a 14-day period. He, however, questioned why a principle applied in the past, particularly during the vetting of Supreme Court nominees in 2024, should not be maintained,
including making references to the situation in 2024 when the tables were the opposite, when the current majority were in minority and his side was in the majority. And the argument that was advanced by many members of Parliament on the then minority side, now on the majority side, who insisted that 14 days or nothing less should be how much time the nominees for appointments to the Supreme Court needed to take before they are taken. We remember what happened during that particular period, including a postponement. So his point is that, fast forward, what has changed? This may not necessarily be enshrined in the standing orders as 14 days, but if that principle existed then, why is the principle not existing now? And I say it's a solid point being made on the basis of principle. Unfortunately, our political class, our members of Parliament, sometimes approbate and reprobate in such a manner that they move away from some of these time-tested principles when it suits them in a way that makes justifying their stance on some of these matters sometimes untenable. So, for example, if the appointment committee vets all people equally, if once the person falls within the kinds of positions that will require parliamentary prior approval, and you are saying that, let's stick to some time, let's give it a bit of time, as has been done in the past with Supreme Court judges, why is it then different for the ministers of state nominees?
Samuel Obey is the founding executive director of the Parliamentary Network Africa. Meanwhile, Parliament has approved the nominations of Mahama Yariga as Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and Dr. Zaneto Agyemang as Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. The approval follows their vetting by Parliament's Appointment Committee. The 2 nominees are expected to take on their respective portfolios following the parliamentary approval. Speaker of Parliament Alban Babli formally announced the approval in the House yesterday.
I proceed to put the question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. This Honorable House has accordingly approved the nominations of His Excellency the President of the following persons as Ministers of State in accordance with Article 78(1) of the 1992 Constitution. The first is Honorable Mahama Ayarga. Honorable members, as Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. The second is Honorable Zaneto Agyemang for the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. Honorable members, on your behalf, I want to congratulate the 2 members of the House for the recognition by His Excellency the President.
So yeah, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babin, still in Parliament, Busan North MP James Agalga has officially assumed office as leader of the Majority Caucus. This follows the NDC's communication to the Speaker of Parliament after Ayariga's ministerial nomination. Agalga pledged consensus building in his new role. The Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Zaneto Agyemang has backed the January 1, 2027 deadline for the ban of polystyrene products, popularly known as styrofoam or takeaway packs. Appearing before Parliament's Appointment Committee yesterday, Dr. Agyemang said the environmental dangers associated with the widespread use and improper disposal of styrofoam products can no longer be ignored.
Operators. In October of this year, we will be welcoming Air Uganda, and in March of next year, we will be welcoming.
We apologize for the wrong sound. Now let's move on to some other stories. And illegal transport fare charges are being still recorded in Kumasi, with the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly admitting that some commercial drivers continue to flout approved fares. This follows several enforcement exercises by the KMA aimed at curbing the charging of unapproved fares by commercial drivers. Speaking to Class News, the head of KMA's Transport Department, Randy Wilson, said there has been a reduction in reports of illegal fare charges, but the practice has not stopped completely.
There's been a little reduction in the reportage of illegal charging of lorry fares, but I wouldn't say it is a total stop because we still have some drivers who wouldn't go to the various stations but would load on the roadside. We still have a few of the station drivers who, when the station executives are not there and it's during the rush hour, they would want to do their own thing. And then we've also had a few of the places where the station have decided to add just one city.
Class 91.3 FM.
Now, what we have done in the past, let me give 2 or 3 examples of specifics. We were at Santase terminal where they loaded Katunsu and Red. They had unilaterally put a warning on their fare, the executive, and when we left, we had information that they were charging the new fares that they had put up. And so we put our 3 offers. And what happened is that they get into a vehicle, you charge the unapproved fare, and the vehicle is arrested. We picked a few of them. The rest of the drivers went on ride.
Randy Wilson is the head of KMA's Transport Department. Away from that, the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans Companies has backed the ongoing microfinance sector reforms but is calling for an orderly transition to protect existing institutions, jobs and financial inclusion. Speaking at the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans 16th Annual General Meeting, Board Chairman Dr. Fred Safo-Kantanka says it is concerned about the capital and liquidity constraints facing some operators and practical implications of the reforms. Meanwhile, the association says its financial performance improved significantly in 2025.
We believe that a successful reform is not merely about changing the regulatory structure. It is about building stronger institutions within that structure. The audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2025 demonstrate a significant improvement in the association's financial position. Total other income increased from 429,000 Ghana cedis to 1,032,400 in 2025.
Dr. Fred Safo-Kantanka is the board chairman of the Ghana Association of Savings and Loans Companies. The managing director of the Ghana Airport Company Limited, Yvonne Efri-Opari, says Ghana's aviation sector is expected to receive a boost with the planned arrival of Air Uganda in October 2026 and Etihad Airways in March 2027. According to her, the entry of the 2 airlines will increase the number of travel options available to passengers and improve Ghana's connectivity to important destinations.
Accra International Airport currently serves 28 scheduled international airlines, 2 domestic airlines, and 5 cargo airlines, in addition to several charter and non-scheduled operators. In October of this year, we will be welcoming Air Uganda, and in March of next year, we will be welcoming Etihad Airways. This speaks to the steady growth of operations at Accra International Airport.
You heard the managing director of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Yvonne Efri Opari. In African news, Tanzania's governing party expelled the vice president who resigned this week in an act of retaliation that will further test the credentials of the East African nation as a place of relative peace and stability. A meeting of the Chamacha Mapudzi or CCM party decided to punish Emmanuel Nchimba for indiscipline and nominated Energy Minister in the Jemembi to become President Samia Suluhu Hassan's deputy. CCM General Secretary Asha Rose Migiro told reporters late Wednesday the maneuver is believed to be part of the ongoing fallout from Hassan's contentious election in October, when the security forces were deployed to put down riots over the disqualification of the president's main rivals. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Class Breakfast News here on Class 91.3 FM in Accra, Ho FM 92.5 in the Volta region, Dagban FM 102.5 in Tamale, Radio Wa 92.1 in the Upper West region, and Radio Power 96 in Spain and around the world on classfmonline.com. For more news, visit classfmonline.com. My name is Nana Agyemang Prempeh. Good morning.